What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Adventure Outpost. It is weekly report time, and we got a bunch of stuff to dive into, so we're not going to waste any time. We're just going to dive right fucking into it. We got books, we got movies, and we got collectibles. As always, I guess today we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to start with the books today because that's the first thing in front of me. And I went to my local Savers, as I do, which is a local thrift store in my area, to see what kind of goods they had in store. If there was anything, I'm always on the hunt for some good Stephen King. No Stephen King today, but I did find a fantasy series, a new one. Well, it's an old fantasy series, but it's a new one to me. I had never seen these in stores before, especially whenever I'm looking for a new fantasy series to read because I love fantasy. Wheel of Time is like one of my favorite book series of all time. So naturally, when I saw something from Tor with some really awesome artwork that's kind of reminiscent of Wheel of Time, I naturally had to pick it up. I don't know how many books there are in the series, but at this local Savers, whoever owned these books must have just given in his whole collection that he had, because I was able to get the first 5 in the series. And we starts with this one called The Rune Lords and it's by David Fairland. I love this cover artwork. It just looks sick. I fucking love fantasy. So we got here in the back, as you see, these only cost $3. So I'm super excited to dive in and give these a read. This looks really cool. I'm really interested to dive into this and see what kind of a fantasy series this is, and if it's gonna hit me the way Wheel of Time and Malazan Empire and Game of Thrones and all those do. We have Volume 2, which is Brotherhood of the Wolf. That looks pretty sick right there. Back doesn't really have as much, as mostly just what's going on, but that front cover right there looks awesome. These are very reminiscent of, I wonder if the person who did the artwork for this did the artwork for the Wheel of Time books, because they're very reminiscent. Or maybe this is just what Tor was doing back in those days, was making all these books look like that. We've got Volume 3, which is Wizardborn. It's got this sweet fucking, like, whatever that guy is. Looks fucking epic, this book series. I'm like super excited to dive in and read these. Volume 4 is The Layer of Bones. Fuck yeah, let's rock in that. I'm so ready for this. Just looking at these, I'm just like, I can't wait to fucking read all this shit. And then the 5th book is Sons of the Oak. I gotta look into it and see if there's any more after this, but so far we've got the first 5 books to look into, because even if you go on here and you look in here, it only shows to this book, because I guess when these came out, this was like their first print editions of those. So we got those. I'm going to dive into those soon. But actually, what I'm going to start reading right now is this book that I've been searching for a while, Where the Crawdads Sing. My mom had it, and she gave it away to a friend. So I've been looking for it in thrift stores for a while and haven't come up. So my mom actually just picked up a copy for me so that I can read this before the movie comes out. So I'm actually going to start reading this first, and then I'll dive into that fantasy series. But I'm looking forward to reading that because the movie does look pretty good. And from what my mom tells me, that book is very good also. So I'm looking forward to diving into that. It was Jurassic World weekend, and what a hell of a weekend it was. 145 million opening for a weekend. It's crazy. It was insanely busy at my theater all weekend. It was absolute nonsense. But I was able to get this collective tin for the movie Jurassic World. Dominion right there on the front with that, and then it's got Blue the Velociraptor along the side. Really cool. Anyone who bought this with popcorn in it and ate the entire thing, you are an absolute monster, because this is 230 ounces. You're a fucking legend in the game if you were able to do that. And if you came back for a refill, then fuck, man, you need to get some priorities straight, because you might be eating too much popcorn in your life. After that, we'll dive into, we got 2 very lovely posters here. Naturally, we've got our Jurassic World posters. We've got this teaser one, which was just the T-Rex and Amber, of course. And then on the opposite side, I've got, and of course it's upside down, so I'm gonna switch it around. And it is the full poster that has everybody in it. You got your character, you got your legacy at the bottom, you got your new guys at the top, Jurassic Dominion at the bottom. It's an alright poster. It falls victim to the same thing as every movie poster these days, where it's just like, just throw all the characters on it and we'll just mishmash it together. And it's like, yeah, I guess that's a poster. Like, cool. But I can't really fault them because everybody does it. I guess you could blame Marvel because I feel like they were the first ones to do it because like with Infinity War and Endgame, like when you had to shove so many people in it, that I guess now every movie is like, let's fucking do that. But it is what it is. I actually like the first poster better, the teaser one where it's just the dinosaur and Amber. That one's pretty cool. So I'm glad to have that one in the collection now as well. I'm hoping to get soon. We're in the process of moving, and we're going to be moving into a house at the end of the summer. So we're moving out of our apartment right now, moving back in with my folks for the summer, and then moving into our house at the end of the summer. So I'm hoping at the end of the summer when I move into my house, I will be able to get an actual huge poster case that I can start putting all these posters in. So it's like a little poster portfolio. So these don't have to just sit in these little tubes like collecting dust for the rest of eternity. But now we move on to the piece de resistance, the movies. What movies did we pick up? Not a lot came out today. I really only picked up 2 of the new movies that came out today. Obviously, I will pick up Morbius at some point. I just do not want to spend $35 for Morbius because that movie was ass. So I'm going to wait for that Steelbook to go down in price and then pick it up at some point because I am not worried in the slightest that that movie is going to sell out at all because nobody gives a fuck about that movie. But we'll start with what we picked up during the week first, and then we'll go into what we just picked up today, new movie-wise. These were all at my local... not a thrift store, it was a record store called Mr. Cheapo's. This is where I go to get my old stuff if I want to upgrade anything. I trade in a lot of old movies, so that way most of this stuff that I get, I never actually pay for. It's just trading in from old stuff, and I get store credit to get new stuff. So this is what I was able to get this week off of trade-ins. First off, we got this awesome slipcover Peter Pan movie. One of my favorite Disney movies is Peter Pan. I'm trying to upgrade all my Disney stuff so I could have it all in the Blu-rays, but I only want to do it if I can get like these slipcovers for them. So obviously I'm picking and choosing my moments. Yes, I am a psycho when it comes to dealing with slipcovers, but you know, hey, we all are. Anybody in the game is doing that. The only one that I wasn't able to get a slipcover with, but I couldn't resist because I love my nature documentaries, is 7 Worlds, 1 Planet on 4K. This is a fucking fantastic nature documentary. I'm glad I was finally able to get this one in the collection, especially on 4K. I can't wait. There's a new one coming out in August with David Attenborough. I think it's called The Green Planet, and I'm fucking so excited. I can't wait to watch that. Also able to get The Little Mermaid in this slip. We got Cinderella in the slip. This was a movie that I had seen in theaters and I had never picked up, and I was waiting for the price to go down, and then of course it just slipped my mind, but I was able to find this Steelbook for like $11, so it was like, let's do it, and that was The Dark Tower. Was not a fan of the movie, loved the book series. Movie left a bit to be desired, but I saw it in theaters, so I gotta own it. This is another one that I saw in theaters, and you gotta own it. Thankfully, I got it for $2, and that is the new Charlie's Angels. Hated this movie, but you know what they say, you see a movie in theaters, you gotta own it in your collection. So I'm glad I finally got that one for such a bare minimum price, and it can sit in there with the slip. And then we got the first Croods. I only had Croods in New Age. I had to get this one, and it was there for pretty cheap too, only 2. So we added that one in there as well. And that was all we got from our trades. And then for today, what we picked up was 2 movies that I had been waiting a few weeks to get, and then 2 actual new movies that came out today. The older ones were, I got Jack Reacher in this Steelbook. This went down on sale. I think it was only like $14 right now, so I finally hopped up on that because I fucking love this movie. I finally picked up Escape from New York. It was ready to do it, time to do it, picked it up. Fucking love this movie. I haven't seen this movie in a long time. For the month of June, I've been going back and rewatching movies that I remember liking when I saw them, but only watched like once or twice. So I'm trying to go back and watch all those movies that I remember liking but haven't watched a lot. So this is one of those ones. I've only seen this movie once, way back in the day when I was a kid, and I remember loving it. So I got to go back and watch it this month and see if it still holds up for me. And then other new movies. Picked up Ambulance today, of course. It's a solid little action movie from Michael Bay. You know what you're getting with the Bay Machine. So we picked that bad boy up. And then the piece de resistance today, the only thing I was like super excited to pick up was, of course, our Raiders of the Lost Ark Steelbook. Indiana Jones is one of my favorite film franchises. I have the idol from this movie tattooed on me. I have the Shankara stones from Temple of Doom tattooed on me. And I am going to get the Holy Grail cup from Last Crusade tattooed on me. That's how much I love these movies. So, of course, I will always pick up any Indiana Jones thing whenever it comes out because they're absolute kings. Fucking love those movies. But that is all we picked up for this week. It was a big one. We got an actual decent haul for once for this week. It's going to be pretty light probably going forward now because next week we are moving out of our apartment. So I'm going to be doing all this hectic shit. So who knows if I'm even going to be able to do a weekly report next week, if what we're going to pick up, if everything's going to be all into the wind. But hopefully I can get something out for you. But that'll be next week. For the outro for today, as always, you have been you, I have been me. These are the movies, the books, the collectibles, all the shit that we love to collect. And until next time, adventure on.